I am very pleased to introduce to you...
Gee, I didn't even ask. Do you guys have a name?
Yes, we do.
We do?
That's right. You can call us the Super 7.
Please don't call us that.
The Super 7? What, you don't like it?
Hey guys, I'm Andrew here, and for this video's rankings of Justice League rosters, we'll be focusing solely on Justice League rosters with 7 members, so popular iterations like Justice League International or the Young Justice League will not be counted. And even if I wasn't limiting it to strictly 7-member rosters, I still don't think it would be fair to include the Justice League Unlimited roster, as that iteration of the Justice League has everyone in the kitchen sink thrown in. Number 7 has been tied to the Justice League since its inception. The number has become so synonymous with the League that the cynical parody of the Justice League in the boys' universe is literally called the 7. In the spirit of keeping things focused on the number 7, I'll be ranking the top 7 Justice League Big 7 rosters. Before we dive into the rankings proper, I'll be noting some honorable mentions of teams that didn't quite make the cut.
Should be amusing.
The DCEU Justice League consisted of Superman, played by Henry Cavill, Batman, played by Ben Affleck, Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, The Flash, played by Ezra Miller, Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa, Cyborg, played by Ray Fisher, and Martian Manhunter, played by Harry Lennox.
And some have called me the Martian Manhunter.
While Zack Snyder's Justice League technically did unite the 7 in the Snyder Cut, we never got to see all 7 appear together on screen, so it was thankfully an easy decision to keep this iteration of the team off the rankings, as it saves me from having to further discuss the dumpster fire of a film that was the Justice League.
Kal-El, no!
Don't ever do that again!
Another honorable mention is the DC Rebirth Justice League. This iteration of the Justice League, written by Brian Hitch, consists of the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, frequent Justice League members, Aquaman and Cyborg, as well as the mantle heroes, Flash and Green Lanterns. We seem to have 8 people on this team. They likely did this to differentiate this iteration of the team from the standard 7-member format, so it's not exactly surprising an 8-man roster didn't make the 7-man roster list. But the reason this roster was even considered in the first place is because while there are 8 members, there are only 7 superhero identities, as the Green Lantern mantle is held by several heroes, as it's more of a uniform rather than a costume, due to the nature of the Green Lantern mythos. While I could play semantics and argue that this is in fact an iteration of the Justice League that only contains 7 DC superheroes, due to 2 of the members, Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz, possessing the same superhero iconography, I'm going to avoid even attempting to play that game, as I find the notion that superheroes are primarily mantle iconography rather than extensions of the characters themselves pretty silly. So that's a wrap for the Rebirth League, as no further consideration is warranted.
Fair enough.
The final honorable mention before we get into the list proper is the Justice League from the CW's Arrowverse. This iteration of the Justice League was founded by Oliver Queen, played by Stephen Amell, and consists of The Flash, played by Grant Gustin, Superman, played by Tyler Hoechlin, Supergirl, played by Melissa Bennett, Batwoman, played by Ruby Rose, White Canary, played by Katie Lotz, Black Lightning, played by Cress Williams, and Martian Manhunter, played by David Hiramwood.
I am the sole survivor of my planet. The last son of Mars.
My name is John Jones.
This team has 8 members if you include the deceased Oliver Queen, who was Green Arrow for years before turning into the Spectre upon his death.
I'm something else. A Spectre. I was called to a higher purpose. It's your turn now, Oliver.
But the main reason this Justice League lineup isn't making this list is it just can't measure up to the iconicness of the top 7 Big 7 lineups.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Now I would like to specify one last thing before diving into the rankings proper. I'd like to preface that I love all 7 of these Justice League lineups on this list, and while I am factoring in how good the stories that these iterations of the Justice League were involved in, the primary focus of these rankings are how much I like the team composition of each iteration of the League.
Fair enough.
At number 7, we have Morrison's Justice League of America roster. After the experimental Justice League International era, it was time for a return to normalcy. This iteration of the Justice League was considered a back-to-basics approach, as the focus shifted from a large team of lesser-known characters back to the focus on 7 iconic heroes. These 7 heroes were Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and the current Flash and Green Lantern, Wally West and Kyle Rayner respectively. Grant Morrison's JLA run lasted for 4 years, but this iteration of the Justice League lasted for 10. This era of the Justice League is commonly referred to as the Pantheon era, as Grant Morrison made the Justice League an allegory for a pantheon of gods who regularly defended Earth from world's-ending threats. The reason this JLA roster placed at 7 is because I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Rayner. While I don't dislike the character by any means, he is definitely my least favorite of the big 4 Green Lanterns, and choice of Green Lantern is one of the most important aspects of assembling a Justice League roster in my opinion. While I'm still a big fan of this iteration of the Justice League, the JLA Pantheon roster will have to settle for the 7th place spot on the Big 7 list.
That doesn't seem fair.
At number 6 we have the Justice League Doom roster. This iteration of the team is featured in the film Justice League Doom, which released in 2012, is actually an animated adaptation of the iconic JLA Pantheon era storyline, The Tower of Babel. One of my all-time favorite comic book storylines. In this storyline, Ra's al Ghul steals and uses Batman contingency plans against his teammates. The Dark Knight keeps some secret files on all his teammates that contain their strengths and weaknesses in case they go rogue or become possessed. In Justice League Doom, however, it's Vandal Savage who steals Batman's contingency plans and uses them.
Savage has foolproof plans for how we can destroy them.
And I will pay you $100 million, plus expenses, for each Justice Leaguer you take off the table.
This iteration of the Justice League consists of Superman, voiced by Tim Daly, Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy, Wonder Woman, voiced by Susan Eisenberg, The Flash, voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, Green Lantern, voiced by Nathan Fillion, Martian Manhunter, voiced by Carl Lumbly, and Cyborg, voiced by Bumper Robinson.
I'm gonna talk her down. Pull your men back.
While this iteration of the Justice League is great, I think there are still 5 Big 7 rosters that are even better. So the Justice League Doom roster will have to settle for 6th place.
Fair enough.
At number 5 we have the New 52 Justice League roster. In 2011, this iteration of the Justice League was created by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee, and was formed to protect Earth from an apocalypse invasion. The New 52 Justice League roster consists of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Cyborg. The New 52 Justice League origin storyline was the primary inspiration for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is not indicative of this story's quality, as that film absolutely butchered this storyline. Fortunately, we did get a proper adaptation of this story in the DCAMU film Justice League War. So this iteration of the Justice League Big 7 roster takes the number 5 spot. It was a close call, but the New 52 roster edges out the Doom roster by a slight margin because I like Aquaman slightly more than I like Martian Manhunter. While the New 52 Justice League roster may have been victorious over the Justice League Doom roster, it will not be experiencing the same result when stacked against its adaptation counterpart.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
At number 4 we have the DCAMU Justice League roster. The 2014 animated film, Justice League War, is easily my favorite of the New 52 Justice League Origin adaptations, and I honestly might even prefer it over the comic book version.
Blasphemy!
Now, which of the two takes on this storyline I prefer may be a toss-up, however which version of the team I prefer is not. This iteration of the Justice League consists of Superman, voiced by Alan Tudyk, Batman, voiced by Jason O'Mara, Wonder Woman, voiced by Michelle Monaghan, The Flash, voiced by Christopher Gorham, Green Lantern, voiced by Justin Kirk, Cyborg, voiced by Shamar Moore, and Shazam, voiced by Sean Astin.
Hey there, what's up? Shazam!
That's right, this version of the Justice League has got my boy Shazam on the team. I wish he was more regularly used as a Big 7 member, as he's one of the more unique superheroes out there, as he has the mind of a kid but the body of a Greek god. Shazam was a big deal back when he was Captain Marvel in the Golden Age under Fawcett Comics, but a lawsuit from DC forced the character into retirement, and then after DC purchased the rights to the character, a lawsuit from Marvel forced a name change for the hero. Which is why he goes by Shazam, even if it doesn't make much sense in universe, as he can't say his hero name without risking changing forms.
Not a great plan.
This iteration of the Justice League takes the number 4 spot on the list primarily because Shazam is an inspired pick to have as one of your core 7 members. While I've been spending the majority of this segment glazing Shazam, We'll also give a special shout out to Hal Jordan, as he is an absolute gem throughout this entire film and certainly helps cement its place as the 4th best Big 7 roster.
Stand back and peep the light show. Green Lantern's got this.
At number 3, we have the Justice League Heroes roster. This is the Justice League roster from the cult classic video game that released in 2006. While it was ultimately overshadowed by Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which also released in 2006, it still won over plenty of people's hearts, including mine, as this is one of my favorite video games of all time. And the core Justice League roster in this game was a significant part of why.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
This iteration of the Justice League consists of Superman, voiced by Crispin Freeman, Batman, voiced by Ron Perlman, Wonder Woman, voiced by Courtney Taylor, The Flash, voiced by Chris Edgerly, Green Lantern, voiced by Michael Jai White, Martian Manhunter, voiced by Daniel Riordan, and Zatanna, voiced by Kari Walgreen.
We don't need the teleporter. I'm magic, remember?
I really enjoy Zatanna as a core member of the League. Would love to see her in more Big 7 rosters in the future. The Justice League Heroes roster nearly finished in 2nd place, but there's another heroine that has better chemistry of John Stewart, which was ultimately the deciding factor for Justice League Heroes finishing in 3rd place.
Fair enough.
At number 2, we have the DCAU Justice League roster. This was the definitive version of the Justice League for my generation. I have many fond memories of watching this show as a kid on Cartoon Network.
Where are you? Aboard the watchtower, guiding it to target. That's insane! Get out of there! Negative. I'm staying in. Batman!
The DC animated universe was full of awesome shows, but my favorite was probably the Justice League cartoon. I even preferred it over Unlimited, which is generally considered to be the superior version of the show, because I like to focus on the core cast of this iteration's founding 7 members. The founding 7 members of this iteration of the Justice League were Superman, voiced by George Newbern, Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy, Wonder Woman, voiced by Susan Eisenberg, The Flash, voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, Green Lantern, voiced by Phil Lamar, Martian Manhunter, voiced by Carl Lumbly, and Hawkgirl, voiced by Maria Canals Barrera.
You said this is where you go to relax?
No, I said this is where I go to celebrate.
While having everyone running around pairing off in unconventional combinations in Justice League Unlimited was certainly fun, it couldn't top the feeling of speculating which of the Big 7 were going to be going on each adventure in the original version of the show. Another thing I loved about the Justice League cartoon was the 2-parter model, the perfect mix of episodic and serialized show telling in my opinion.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
As alluded to earlier, Shire's chemistry with Jon Stewart is one of the best aspects of this iteration of the Justice League. However, it's not the only budding romance to be found on this team, as there was a spark between Diana and Bruce as well.
No dating for the Batman. It might cut into your brooding time.
1. Dating within the team always leads to disaster. 2. You're a princess from a society of immortal warriors. I'm a rich kid with issues. Lots of issues.
Pairing Wonder Woman and Batman works, but pairing Wonder Woman with Superman absolutely doesn't, as pairing the 2 strongest heroes on Earth further alienates them from humanity, where pairing them with human characters helps ground them and further connects them with the ordinary people that they are protecting.
A very tragic example, I'm afraid, Miss...
Lane.
Lane? Lois Lane? The one Superman always saves?
Afraid so.
Back to the DCAU Justice League, the friendships between the members, especially Superman and Batman, Superman and Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl and Wonder Woman, and Flash and Green Lantern, are also highlights of this iteration of the Justice League.
Working together, we saved the planet. And I believe that if we stayed together as a team, we would be a force that could truly work for the ideals of peace and justice.
What? Like a bunch of super friends?
More like a Justice League.
While there is definitely an argument to be made for this being the best Big 7 Justice League roster, there is one iteration of the Justice League, which I think will be pretty difficult to ever truly top. So as good as the DCAU Justice League is, it'll have to be content with taking home silver instead of gold, as 2nd place is as high up on the podium as it's gonna get.
Fair enough.
And at number 1 we have the original Justice League of America roster. Sometimes there's no beating the original. The OG, JLA, debuted way back in 1960 in The Brave and the Bold issue number 28. The creator of the team, Gardner Fox, envisioned this team as a revival of sorts of the Justice Society of America, comics' first superhero team.
I'm back! Better.
The original Justice League of America formed to fend off an invasion from Starro the Conqueror. This iteration of the Justice League consists of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. While Batman and Superman were official members of the League, unlike honorary member Snapper Carr, a character designed to be a self-insert for the teenage readers, the world's finest heroes would be less present at the start of the series to allow for the other 5 heroes a chance to shine.
It's a new day. It's your time to shine. It's time to take your career into your own hands.
The Justice League of America quickly became one of DC's best-selling titles, and was so popular in fact, it started to revive the dying comics industry. Their rival Marvel took note of the team's popularity and came up with teams of their own, like the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. While the JSA eventually got brought back, they would never be able to measure up to their spiritual successor team.
He's out of line, but he's right.
They knocked it out of the park with the original Big 7 Justice League lineup, and I don't know if this iteration of the team will ever be topped, because they got it so right the first time, and as Billy Joel would say, that's the main thing to get the first time to last.
Get it right the first time, that's the main thing. Oh.
And last it did, as the Justice League is the most iconic superhero team in all of fiction, and the original 7 members are one of the main reasons why. So like their statues at the Hall of Justice, they too will be receiving gold today, as they replaced the #1 spot on my list. So that was my rankings of the top 7 Big 7 Justice League lineups. Let me know what you thought of the list down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, subscribe so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. This is Iron Mandrill, signing off. Have yourselves a super day. Ciao.
Bonus round!
And as a bonus, I decided to throw in my ideal Big 7 Justice League roster into this video. While I certainly don't think this would be as iconic a roster as the original or DCAU roster, it would be the team I would assemble if I was given free reign to make my own team for a Justice League adaptation or comic run. My ideal Justice League would consist of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Zatanna. While I was thinking of throwing Shazam on here instead of Green Arrow, I think that since we already have Zatanna and Superman on the team, Shazam would be a bit redundant beyond his childish behavior, and even that is covered by Wally.
Yeah! Wait, no!
Also, having Green Arrow and Green Lantern Guy Gardner on the team together would be great for drama, as their differing political ideologies would create a lot of friction between the two, especially since they are both hot-headed. Which, when paired with one of the Trinity, would give them a good straight man to break up their bickering when it gets distracting from the mission at hand. And having Zatanna's power sets and personality on the team could allow for some wacky hijinks to ensue. For all those reasons and more, this would be my ideal Justice League Big 7 roster. And on that note, folks, I bid you all adieu.